Guys, smash like if you hate Rambo.
I mean, I can't really deny it. Smash like. It supports the channel. Keeps Kyrogus going fresh, going strong. I mean, might as well. Like the video.
Most liked video. It's not fake. It's like our beef is real, but like I actually do like Rambo is actually my friend. It's not like I just have some guy I actually hate on my stream. But Austin texted me and he's like, "Hey man, why are you such a dick to Rambo?" I'm like, "'Cause he deserves it. What do you mean?"
Thanks, A. Kurt. I appreciate you.
Tell me what you would rather have, you know, on your team. If you're building your own franchise, would you rather have a player that is consistent, week in, week out? You know exactly what you're getting. This man will never waver. He won't be better or worse than what he is. That's a guy like Kyrogus. When you're betting on a guy like Kyrogus, you're getting consistency. Just look at this right here. For 2 weeks, 7-9, 7-9. You can't ask for better consistency than that. On a dime. You know exactly what you get with Kyrogus. Man. Or would you rather have someone sporadic, streaky, unpredictable, unreliable, mind you, like Rambo? A man who can be 11-5 one week and 5-11 the next. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, personally, I think I would rather have a player like Kyrogus on my squad. Consistency, dependability, reliability. Rather than Rambo who's going to pop when he feels like it. Consistency is key. Landon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Big ol' fat Kyro L this week. Command L's in chat. I deserve it. I lost. But how do you go from 5-11 to 11-5?
I'm like the Packers, baby. I just can't do it week 1. It'll be okay.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see about that, pal. Like we'll see about that. So, obviously, I suck. But here's what this tells me about Rambo. Rambo is just blindly guessing. That's what I know from this.
No.
Rambo is just picking his teams at random, and sometimes they'll go 5-11, sometimes they'll go 11-5. I'm at least putting thought into it, and everyone knows like half of the games each week will be maybe an upset. And so 7-9, that's respectable, right? Definition of mid. So in total on the year,
we got Kirk Cousins over here making picks.
Definition of mid. We are mid. So on the year, I'm 14-18, and Rambo is 16-16, right at 500. So not good. Not good at all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite segment, WGP Week 3. Rambo and I are going to predict every single game of Week 3 of the 2022-23 NFL season. Last week, I had a bad week. I've been consistent at 7-9 both weeks. Rambo went from 5-11 to 11-5. Total on the scoreboard, I'm 14-18, Rambo 16-16, so I'm not out of the race yet. I went from winning by a couple games to now losing by a couple games, so bad deal there, but I need to have a really good bounce back week. This is the first week I didn't do my picks beforehand, so I'm just going to kind of be looking at it with fresh eyes like you are, Rambo, and picking off the top of my head rather than predetermining it. Week 3, Thursday night football. We've got the gritty, grinding Pittsburgh Steelers led by coach Mike Tomlin and quarterback Mitch Trubisky, baby. That defense is stacked. Even though they don't have TJ Watt, they have got some good things going. Minka Fitzpatrick is an early through 2 weeks candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. That man has been going crazy on that Steelers secondary. The Browns, they got a week 1 win against the Panthers, shutting down Baker Mayfield's revenge game. But in week 2, they choked a lead in the fourth quarter to Joe Flacco and the New York Jets. So the Browns are pretty down bad right now, but the Steelers sitting at 1-1. Both teams are 1-1. The Steelers lost to the Patriots, a game that they very well could have won. Rambo, who do you got? Actually, shut up, Rambo. I hate you. I'm going first.
Hey. I go first. Super hot. He goes first. What is this?
Steelers, baby. Blindo, I got your back. I'm picking Pittsburgh again. I almost did week 1. I should have. I did last week. They let me down, but I'm going Steelers. Even though that offense sucks, please take Mitch Trubisky out and put the rookie in. Just let him get some reps. I understand the Steelers offense could probably going to suck either way, but the Browns have got their issues. The Browns might win this game, honestly. But honestly, if you're going to blow lead to the Jets, you don't deserve it. Rambo, who you got?
Honestly, you're going to hate this, but I agree with you. I'm taking the Steelers, too. The Browns secondary clearly showed that they can't defend Joe Flacco. The MVP, Pickett, whoever, I think secondary is going to let him down again. I'm not sure Najee Harris will do much.
All right, we both got the Steelers for game 1, Thursday Night Football. Sunday, Bills at Dolphins. The Buffalo Bills, mountaintop of the league, have destroyed their first 2 games. Josh Allen, early favorite for MVP at the Miami Dolphins, who had the most exciting game of week 2 in their comeback win against the Ravens. Tua looked awesome, and him and that receiving core with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Mike Gesicki, they were clicking on all cylinders in that second half, especially the fourth quarter. So the Dolphins are a super exciting team. I think they're going to be honestly a pretty good team in the AFC this year, but I don't think they're going to have a shot at the Bills. The Bills are just too strong of a powerhouse right now. I think this could end up being the toughest game of the year to this point for the Bills through the first 3 weeks. And I think the Dolphins might do something interesting, but I think the Bills still win by a couple scores at least.
I'm taking the Bills because I think the Dolphins secondary, they gave up a lot of points to Lamar and the Ravens. If they're going to give up that many points, I think they'll give up a huge chunk of points to the Bills as well. But this game has the potential, to be a shootout. This is my shootout prediction for the week.
Ooh, I like it.
Will it be an L? Probably.
Game 3, Bengals at Jets. Cincinnati Bengals 0-2, heading to New York. Their offensive line tried to upgrade it. 4 of their 5 starters are different, but Joe Burrow's been sacked 13 times through 2 games. Is on pace to be sacked like 111 times or something this season. Hopefully and probably that won't happen, but that's what they're on pace for. But they face a couple of tough defensive fronts, though, so it should slow down. The Jets are coming off a hot comeback win led by Joe Flacco. I've picked the Bengals 3 weeks in a row now, and they have still yet to make me cash out good on that pick, but this has got to be the week. If the Bengals don't beat the Jets here, the Bengals are done. They are looking bad, but are not done yet. But if they lose to the Jets here, it's a wrap. If you start 0-3, losing to the Steelers offense, the Cowboys without Dak, and the Jets, you don't deserve to be an AFC champion or even make the playoffs. So I'm going Bengals. I picked them 3 weeks in a row now. They keep letting me down, but it's got to turn around this time. It should be a lock.
I'm taking those Bengals as well. This is kind of a make or break game for them. I agree. The Bengals, they've lost both their games by a combined 6 points. I don't think the Jets have it.
The Raiders at the Tennessee Titans. These are 2 teams, both starting 0-2. Now, I think they're still a pretty clear better team out of these 2 from what we've seen so far. Rambo's probably going to agree. They choked so hard to the Cardinals last week. And they had to play the Chargers, who are really good week 1. But I think the Raiders are finally going to get their first tally in the win column this week against the Titans. I do like the Titans more as a team. I'm rooting for the Titans, as a fan.
I'm taking Vegas with this one. This is a pretty safe bet here. The Titans are awful. They're not going to get many yards on offense, I'm pretty sure. I think Devontae Adams is going to tear up their secondary.
I feel like this is the first week that there's just a lot of games that really look like locks. Like, there's a lot of games here that I feel like one team doesn't have a chance. There's going to be upsets still, but I feel like this week is a lot more predictable. Saints, Panthers. The Saints really crapped the bed at the end of that defensive slugfest with the Buccaneers. But the Buccaneers are, in my opinion, a top 3 team in the league as of right now. I would say it's probably Bills, then Chiefs, then Buccaneers. And the Saints were all the way in that game against the Buccaneers. The Panthers have been pretty terrible thus far. And I feel like there's probably another one we're going to end up picking together, but I'm going to go the Saints. I don't think the Panthers are going to get their first win yet.
Yeah, I'm taking New Orleans as well. New Orleans did not have the best week at all. But granted, they only gave up 13 points to that Bucs offense.
I think this is kind of a trap game. I think a lot of people are going to be sleeping on the Panthers this week, and they really want to get their first win. I genuinely can see the Panthers having kind of a breakout game and actually beating the Saints. This is one of those games that I feel like if there's going to be some upsets this week, I could see this being one of them, but I'm still going to pick the Saints. Ravens at New England. Lamar Jackson, one of the contenders for MVP at this point. He's not passing Josh Allen at this point, but Lamar Jackson has been really good through 2 weeks and is really carrying that Ravens team that's not helping them as much as they should be. They totally should have beat the Dolphins last week. but the defense really just choked for the Ravens. I think they're going to clean that up a little bit. And the Patriots, they've been struggling as well. They did get the win on the Steelers last week, which was a good win for them. Mac Jones was playing a little bit better, but still not great. And I think the Ravens are just a better team right now. And I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I think Lamar is probably going to have his worst statistical game of the year so far, but I still think he's going to play well enough to get them the win. This is an interesting one. The Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. Now, unfortunately for Lions fans, Kirk Cousins is playing during the day and not at nighttime, so he is going to be awake and playing with absolutely no fear. Now,
he's going to be playing indoors, though. But like Kirk, how do you feel about playing indoors versus outdoors? That's what I want to know.
I want to see Kirk Cousins just making a bullcrap excuse for every setting to play a game in.
Scared of the boogeyman. It's going to come get him in the middle of the third quarter. The power shuts off.
But I truly think this is going to be a really good, close game. I think it's going to be a really interesting, fun game. This will be one of the games I would like to watch because I think it can be pretty close. I think the Vikings, after last week and a lot of slander and, talk on the media coming at the Vikings, I think the Vikings are going to come out focused and try to get a win. The Lions coming off of a win, and the Lions are just dialed in this season. I think they're also going to come in pretty focused. I can see the Vikings getting an early lead and maybe winning the game. And I think there's a possibility the team runs away with it because both of these teams are kind of teams that, when the going gets tough, kind of lay down a little bit. But I think that both of these teams, divisional rivals, both of these teams have aspirations for this season. I think it's going to be a good game. I think both teams are going to be duking out for all 4 quarters. That being said, I got to pick the Detroit Lions here. A, I'm pissed at the Vikings for last week. B, I really like the Lions this year. C, it's going to be a really close game. I think either team could come out on top, but I'm going Lions. Eagles at the Washington Commanders. Eagles, no comment. Nothing else to be said, Rambo. I can't pick the Commanders here. I absolutely cannot. Chiefs at Colts. If you asked me before the season started what I thought of this game, I would have picked the Chiefs, but I would have said, man, that's going to be a good game. The Chiefs might win by 60. This is honestly might be one of the closer games of the week, but for bad reasons. The Texans at the Chicago Bears. I still think the Texans suck. I really like the Chicago Bears. I feel like Justin Fields is kind of getting hate after last week, but I still think he has a chance to be pretty good. I'm gonna pick the Chicago Bears here. Jaguars at the Chargers. Now there's a chance Justin Herbert won't play off of his rib injury issues from the Kansas City game. If Justin Herbert needs to take a game off for the sake of his health for the season, I think a game against the Jaguars is probably the game to take that break on, especially when it's the week after you had the injury. The Jaguars, however, coming off a 24-0 win, might be a little bit hot. However, it's at Chargers home field. It's at SoFi. And even if Justin Herbert doesn't play, the Chargers are just a much better team all around than the Jaguars. So regardless, I'm picking the Chargers. Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this is kind of an interesting one. The Cardinals had a rough start to the year. They got blown out by the Chiefs, and the first half against the Raiders, they were getting blown out again. And the Cardinals, I think, just in general, are one of the most inconsistent teams in the league. However, did they ever finish strong in that Raiders game? Kyler Murray, with insane production in the fourth quarter to lead the comeback and get the tie to send it to overtime. And then that Cardinals defense forced another fumble, this time scoop and score, or the touchdown to beat the Raiders in overtime. The Rams have had a slower start to the year than people might have expected. They lost bad week 1 to the Bills. Week 2, they did win, but it was a narrow win to the Falcons, who are one of the not as good teams in the league, even if through 2 games they've kept it close with some of the good teams they've played. So the Rams have started out worse than expected, but kind of the Cardinals have too. Maybe the Cardinals are about what people expected them to be. I do think the Rams probably win this game, and the Rams are a better team and a hopefully probably more consistent team. The Rams and Cardinals are both 1-1. So I think the smart pick here is the Rams. And I know I said I need to pick smart picks here, but I'm going to say that the Cardinals keep a little bit of that mojo up and get the upset here. I'm going to pick the Cardinals.
That's a wild pick, man. I gotta be honest. I'm taking LA.
Wait, Modern Warfare 2 beta is out? Uh-oh, Kyler Murray's not doing a dang thing this week in practice. I'm going to have to go Rams. Packers at Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. The Packers had a bad first week against Minnesota. Their receiving core is still kind of a question mark. Then they had a bounce back big win against the Bears, which the Packers own the Bears, and the Bears aren't that good anyways. I think the Packers got a real shot, and I think the Packers were really not favored last year and beat the Buccaneers, if I'm not mistaken. So we could see something similar this year, but I gotta pick the Buccaneers. Actually, didn't Mike Evans get suspended a game?
Mike Evans is suspended for one game.
This could be interesting, actually. I think this could be a really good game. I'm going to pick the Buccaneers for now, but this could be one of the teams when we go to the coin toss, which looks like it's going to have to, unless we go opposite on all of these last 4 games. I'm going to go Buccaneers, but this could be one I come back to and switch. Rambo?
I didn't really know who to pick for this, but coming in here, I actually have the Packers.
Whoa, we didn't pick the same? All right, let's go.
Packers.
Falcons and the Seahawks, Battle of the Birds. Now, because this game is a matchup between two teams that aren't very good, the Seahawks did have that good win against the Broncos, but I honestly think the Falcons have been a bit more impressive, just been hanging close with the teams they play, because the Saints defense is really good, and the Rams are the current Super Bowl champions and a really good team. The Falcons have been within 1 score of both of those teams. So I think the Falcons have been a little bit more impressive, but because the Seahawks are my second favorite team and it's this close, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Seahawks again. We both picked the Seahawks, I guess, but that one might change too. Because now it's a lock. We're going to have to coin toss some picks. 49ers at Broncos. This one should be interesting. I really don't like the 49ers. They're one of my least favorite teams in the league. Even before last year, when they beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. But I really don't like the 49ers. And this is another one of those games that I feel like can go either way. I don't pick emotionally, but genuinely. So the 49ers started out with their young quarterback who's now injured, Jimmy Garoppolo, who's super mid. He is kind of a question marker that he did play well last week. It was against the Seahawks, though. And the Broncos have had early struggles, and the Broncos coaching staff is a big question mark on if they suck big balls or not. 49ers are probably the safe pick here, but I'm going to say Russell Wilson has been getting a lot of hate, even though they won last week. It was a close win against the Texans. Russell Wilson's been getting a lot of slander. I think him and that receiving core, I think the Broncos are going to upset. I'm going to go with the Broncos. I've picked the Broncos every week, and they've been not very good, but I'm picking the Broncos again. Man, I'm not really feeling good about this week so far. Monday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys at the Giants. Now, everyone knows Rambo's a fake Cowboys fan, so he's picking the Giants. But genuinely, I think this is going to be a good game. The Giants are a team that was thought to be not very good and are now sitting at 2-0. But Daniel Jones is not very good, and he's going against the Cowboys defense, which has been really good so far. And, I mean, Cooper Rush is 2-0 as a starter. And I think he's good enough against this Giants defense to get the job done again. I am going back to the boys in blue, the actual boys. I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys. I won't give you hate and call you a fake fan if you pick the Giants, because we need to split these picks.
Oh, I'm staying faithful. I'm picking my Dallas Cowboys.
Oh my gosh.
And the Cowboys defensive line will force 2 fumbles in this game.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will notice we have made it to the end. All 16 games have been picked, and we do not have at least 4 differences. We do not have at least 4 games on the split. We have 2 games on the split, but we have to have at least 4 games on the split. So for the first time this season, in week 3 of WGP, we're going to have our first overtime game. Overtime! Now what this means, just like the good old NFL, we're going to flip a coin. Rambo's going to call it. I'm going to flip it. And whoever wins the toss gets to choose who switches a pick first. But we will alternate switching a pick until 4 of them are different. And that will decide the final bit of the picks for the week. So, Rambo, heads or tails?
Ooh, I gotta go with tails because it never fails.
Tails never fails. I'm flipping. And in all honesty, it is heads. I don't know if you can kind of see it there, actually. It is heads, so I get a pick. I get to pick if I switch a pick first or if Rambo switches a pick first. And I'm going to say, Rambo, you switch first. I elect to kick.
If Herbert is out.
That's the one you might
Chase
change?
Daniels
Wow.
in. You know what? Screw it, boys. Do it for the vine. Risk it for the biscuit. I'm switching my Chargers pick to Jacksonville.
Wow, that is wild. Lions-Vikings, I think, is probably the closest game of all these, but I am going to keep that pick. I said Saints-Panthers might be one that I change as well, because I can see the Panthers as an upset, but I'm going to keep the Saints. I'm just going to go back to the meme, not really a meme, but I'm going to go back with what I hinted at earlier, and I'm going to switch the Rams for the Cardinals. I'm going to hope, I love Kyler Murray. I'm going to hope he's going to look past all of the slander about Warzone Weekend. And I love Kyler Murray coming off that amazing comeback. The Rams have struggled early this season. Kyler Murray is going to lead those Arizona Cardinals at home to a victory over the Los Angeles Rams. All right, ladies and gentlemen, these are our Week 3 predictions for every game. Once again, we got 4 games on the split, and that is Chargers, Jaguars, Cardinals, Rams, Buccaneers, Packers, and Broncos, 49ers. Let me know in the comments below, who do you have winning this week? Me, Kyrogus, or Rambo next to me? Who's got the better picks? And if your picks are way different than ours, or just whatever your picks are, in the comments below, let me know what your picks for the week are. I really want to read them. We will see you next week to react to all of these games. I really need a good week here to get the comeback and get this score back in my favor, or at least tie it up. And I need to have a week that's better than 7-9. I think this is my best chance to do it. The league should be a lot more predictable this week. However, that Cardinals pick might be a little rough. That Broncos pick might be rough. The split might not be in my favor. I'm hoping Chargers and Buccaneers are locks, though. But they might not be. So, hopefully I can get that to swing in my favor. But I will see you all next week to react to these games. And then, of course, we're going to be predicting the next week as well. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to smash like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Thanks so much. Peace.